How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PanGeekery Podcast, a live video podcast. I thought Walt was like signaling me for something.
Sorry.
Welcome to PanGeekery Podcast, a live weekly video podcast covering all things geek from an all diverse perspective. And what we do here is we're going to talk about everything geek, movies, films, video games, and all that for as long as we can, and cover all the little nooks and crannies of fandom. Welcome to our third episode! Yay! My name is Earl. I am one of your hosts.
I'm Jen. I'm another one of your hosts.
My name is Kaitlyn. I'm another one of your fabulous hosts.
And I'm Walter, back again. I was MIA last week, so I'm glad to be back, guys.
Well, before we start, just want to give a shout out to Jimmy John's. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Remember, get your $10 box lunch at Jimmy John's. Yeah. It's delicious.
So
I
good.
can't even remember what I had. It was just a religious experience.
You're doing a great job.
I just got my new favorite, which is the Gargantuan Unwitched. Highly recommend it, guys.
Dude, I'm going to jump on that next
I really
week.
like the Italian night.
Oh.
It was very handy.
We're talking about sandwiches still, right?
Oh,
Yeah, he's going to jump on your gargantuan.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
you're
I
very
thought we were
hammy,
talking about
so-
a different type of sub.
Whoa!
We were
Oh,
just
it's okay.
veering
I was going to ride
straight
that
into
Italian
the blue
night.
today.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all
The inches matter.
See, I didn't even start anything. It just happened. But we got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of news happening in the geek sphere. We got some Umbrella Academy going on. We're going to talk about a little bit of Kingdom, and we're going to talk a little bit about games today. So we're going to have a lot of fun. First up in geek news, so Shang-Chi has both its the movie's happening and it has a director. Jen, did you want to say something about that?
No, I have nothing to say about it.
All right. Next.
He asked you that because you're Chinese, right? Is that the deal?
Oh
gosh, you guys. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yo, just being racist. Look, Shang-Chi could be like Cambodian.
Anyhow.
guess.
Let's calm down. No, but actually, so this is a new Marvel movie in the works, and Shang-Chi, as you know, is an Asian superhero who does kung fu,
What?
like every Asian superhero should. So he's a criminal mastermind's son who, quote, becomes a hero when he learns about the dark history about his family and his upbringing, and he devotes his life and his talents to taking down his father's criminal empire.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and the writer is actually Chinese American, Dave Callahan. And, Marvel intended for this movie to kind of be like the Asian Black Panther in that they hired another, ethnicity-fitting director, ethnicity-fitting writer. You know what I mean? To kind of like diversify the writer's room as well as the production so that we can actually generate new diverse work, which is high time. Wise of them to do so.
Agreed.
So we have found a new director in Hawaiian indie film director, Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yeah.
Who
Nice.
is famous for a short film called Short Term 12, which was later turned into a longer film starring none other than Captain Marvel, Brie Larson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's pretty well known in the Sundance film circuit, and kind of like resembles Ryan Coogler in that he started off in like independent cinema,
yeah,
and now
cool.
they're picked up for the largest cinematic franchise
no big deal.
probably ever made.
Not like it's hard.
NBC.
Selling out.
That's pretty cool.
Sellouts.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
I have feelings about sequel culture. But
apparently.
this is exciting, though. This is great. Now, we can stop saying, Crazy Rich Asians was the Asian Black Panther, because we will have the Asian
Right.
Black Panther. Woo! We'll have Shang-Chi.
Totally was not the Asian Black Panther, by the way.
We'll have Shang-Chi.
It'll be Black Dragon. Not
Black Dragon.
I mean, I'm pretty excited about that. Shang-Chi, it's an old character. I think it's about time he needs some love, because back in the day, he was basically based on Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Well, that's how they got the
course.
idea.
Not
They
too
created
bad to be
that
based
because they
off
couldn't
of.
get the rights to Kung Fu.
Right.
Because the TV station, Derek Carradine and all them stole it or wouldn't give it to Marvel. So,
A lot of history there.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Imperialism.
I don't know. I'm happy that they're doing this. I'm reserved about it.
Are you?
Personally?
Why?
Just because I don't know. I noticed this a while back. All the Asian, whether it's DC or Marvel, almost all Asian American or Asian like superheroes in comic books, like their superhero was literally martial arts. They had no superpowers.
Right.
And then when they did, before, like when Jubilee came out, like it was like, no offense to Jubilee fans, they've powered her up since then, but it's like, ooh, fireworks.
Yeah, they have
I'm hating
powered
on
up.
fireworks. Okay?
But then they
Those are
turned her
pretty.
into a vampire, and like, remember that?
Well,
Come
then
on.
her fireworks are now actually like nuclear fission or
Right.
reactions, and I'm like, oh, okay, great, but like,
I mean, you do bring up a point.
Yeah.
Like, I wish.
and then
'cause-
Sunfire was like barely seen in the
Right.
X-Men universe.
Because his full name is Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna just straight up stick to like he's just badass at Kung Fu. Because in the comics he doesn't have any powers.
Yeah. Like
So-
that's literally
So that's your
like
main
our-
gripe, the fact that that's
almost
his main power?
Asian American like or Asian characters in the comic books that was produced back then was their power literally was just
Being
martial
Being
arts.
badass at
But what
Being
if it's
Asian.
Kung
So I
Fu
literally
is
I basically pretty much have superpowers. That's like
Right.
Because you do.
I do martial arts. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Then why aren't you a Marvel hero?
I know,
Walter?
right? I know. Hey. See, I didn't say it. She did.
Casting. Right here.
I mean, that's a fair point. It's not to take away like the legitimacy of them existing in the universe. It's
Right.
more so
Right.
saying like, hey, like in order to actually legitimize like Asian characters, are you doing more than just seeing them as exotic for their culture?
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
it's a larger question for sure.
Exactly,
Hopefully this
because
movie will
power for
address it.
power, like Shang-Chi, just because he does martial arts, like he technically can't compare with Captain America or
Right.
Black Panther because they are humanly enhanced. They're enhanced human beings.
Maybe they'll
Humanly
rewrite.
enhanced.
Humanly enhanced.
You think they'll like kind
Maybe
of
they'll like
rewrite him?
intensify his powers.
Hopefully
yeah,
they'll
rewrite
power
it.
him up. Maybe they'll steal
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist powers and give it to him.
Revenge.
Yeah,
know.
maybe his kung fu is so intense that like it blows all other kung fu masters out of the water.
Like
you know?
Jun-Ki-Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Comes full circle with like Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah.
But then all
Like
jiu-jitsu
Wing Chun or
practitioners will be like, does he know ground
I know,
game? Does he
yeah,
have
yeah.
ground game?
He just have ground game. What's up with his ground
What's his
game?
jiu-jitsu?
Hey man, and then the jiu-jitsu guys are gonna be like, yeah, but what if there was multiple attackers? It's just gonna go on forever and ever.
So there's that.
Do you do UFC?
I know, what's up? Where do you train at, dog?
Do MMA?
Bro, do you even kung fu? Like-
MMA? So I can say that because I do.
Oh damn.
So whatever. Cool. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I think we should talk about is the Avengers Endgame trailer.
Right. Avengers Endgame.
Like, if any of you've seen it, like I recommend checking it out. But everyone's seen it, right?
Yes.
I mean, I personally thought it was interesting how they were the trailer's taking clips from like the original like core members of the Avengers,
Right.
showing their origin, like
Right.
clips from their origin, and then followed up with where their current situation is. Iron Man in the desert in the Mark I armor, and then him being stuck in the spaceship adrift, and then Captain America before he signed up for World War II, and then now he's and then with Peggy Carter like narrating and so forth. Even introducing Hawkeye, like and then the little him
the new Mohawk Hawkeye.
Ronin.
Yeah.
I believe his name's
Mohawk.
yeah.
It sounds like a
He's like-
Hawaiian type of.
Yeah, he's a character named Ronin, and so I think they're gonna introduce that because he's no longer he's
a
masterless. He's a masterless archer.
Yeah.
And then them talking about whatever it takes. Like, that
Whatever it
was-
takes.
and then eventually ending with Thor and Captain Marvel, and him saying I like this one. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting, like them facing off each other. Those are the two most cosmic powered beings too, being on the same team.
Right.
What do you guys think, Jen? What did you think about the trailer? Or
I thought it was interesting. I almost felt like it was like an army recruitment video. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
So it was
They
kind of
say whatever it takes.
yeah,
That's what it said. Yeah,
Okay.
over and
Repeats.
over towards the end.
What-
Whatever
no,
it takes.
it was a joke. I just wanted to make sure
Did
they
they say
said
that?
whatever it
What it-
takes.
Was that the
Yeah.
Whatever it
exact
takes.
quote?
yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What,
I
what
think
I,
it was like more like however it does. Whatever it takes.
what I found
Wherever
interesting.
it goes,
However it be.
whoever it does. Whoa.
What I do find interesting though is like, and then they have them walking in the new suits, walking. I
Right.
don't know if it's the airport, very similar to Civil War, where they're walking in the Berlin airport
Right.
with the new what I suspect is the new PIM suits.
Oh, they're all pimp suits.
I
So
believe
they look
so.
very cyborg-like.
Yeah, because it's there's a lot of reviews of people who studied it. Also, it looks very similar to Ant-Man's suit because there's a theory that they might go into
the quantum realm.
realm.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We're about to science some shit.
Yeah.
And I noticed though in that group walkthrough, the slow-mo walkthrough, that most of the people who survived the snap were the people from Phase 1 of
Yeah.
Marvel,
Right.
which is like I was like, oh
is a
man,
chin
setting up of who's gonna die. Because it's
yeah?
like-
I don't know.
We have like some contracts running out, right?
yeah, we have pretty much
Like
the
all of
contracts,
them,
all
right?
of Phase 1 contracts.
Another thing I noticed in the videos is like all of the original Avengers are all getting old.
Mark Ruffalo.
Like Mark Ruffalo's just like hanging in there. I mean,
Aw.
they're not old, but they've gotten older. And it's
Something
like,
wrong with being
definitely.
older, Jen?
No, I'm just saying.
Are you
it's-
being ageist?
No.
Superheroes can't be older with
I'm
gray
just
hair now?
I'm remarking that.
How much
That's why their
10 years
contracts
changes
are
people.
expiring.
Right.
The Hulk is gonna age. He's gonna live forever.
Yeah.
It is kind of, if you think about it, they've been working on this franchise since
2008.
2000,
Yeah, it's
before
10
that,
plus
because, like,
years of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
It's like the
That'll
Harry
do
Potter.
it to you.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Instead of growing up, they're growing old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the MCU, where there was just news that they picked James Gunn back up for Guardians Galaxy 3 because he was
yes,
previously kicked off the project.
right.
Kaitlyn?
Well, as many of you know, James Gunn was kicked off the project after last July. Several alternative right members dug up through his Instagram, like we're talking 10 plus years ago, a number of, shall we say, inappropriate tweets, which oftentimes bordered on like, rape and pedophilia. No,
Pedophilia.
they didn't border. They were rape and pedophilia jokes. So if you guys remember, there was this big shitstorm about it. And then Disney was like, you're out of here.
Hell no.
Makes me wonder though, like, were they really intending on doing that? Because in the official report,
Right.
it says that they molded over and they've thought, you know what? No, let's give him a second chance. So he's back on the project, not only for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but he's also going to be directing with DC and Warner Brothers for Suicide Squad. And let me ask you guys this. When I say Suicide Squad, do you think we're talking a sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad or a reboot?
I'm thinking reboot.
Wait, is that for sure?
no,
Earl,
I
though?
don't think it's gonna be a reboot.
So, because I read somewhere it was a sequel, but so now I'm not sure.
I have a feeling, in my personal theory, I'm guessing it's gonna be a reboot, but with completely different characters. It's like its own standalone.
So it is kind of a sequel to the last film, but different.
I don't think it's.
actors.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I personally don't think it's gonna be connected
To the first
to
Suicide
the
Squad.
first Suicide Squad. It's just gonna be a standalone Suicide Squad.
Really?
That's so crazy.
But Harley Quinn was like a huge selling.
She was
point
a-
of that
yeah.
whole movie.
She was-
Well, they haven't announced the cast yet, right?
That's true.
No, they-
because unless they bring back what's her
Jared
name?
Leto.
Well, Harley Quinn,
Margot Robbie.
Robbie to
Yeah.
do it and one of them as a connector. But I have a feeling it's
be hard to
not.
sell
It's
if
gonna be and even what's her name, the agent, the person they work for. I'm blanking out. Anyways, but
Viola Davis?
yeah, Viola Davis'
Yeah,
character,
yeah.
like she's gonna be, unless she comes back, then it's not a sequel. It's a sequel, but a standalone like
Right.
new show.
I like that you have a whole science to this. It's
Did you just make this up?
if then
If then.
permutation,
Yeah.
computations, and Marvel results.
It's that meme where there's all these like numbers and equations.
Suicide Squad does not equal Suicide
Does
Squad.
not
I mean, I could be
Does
wrong. I
not
could be
compute.
wrong with the way Warner Brothers does it, but I don't know.
What did you
man.
guys think of the 2016 Suicide Squad? I decked out for the theater to go see that one. I was told it was going to be terrible.
Right.
I didn't think it was terrible.
It was okay.
I liked it more than Guardians of the Galaxy. Kill me. I know.
Whoa.
You can.
I think you
say
just
what
have
you want.
opposite reactions to every kind of buff up because like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was like super hyped, so maybe like that's why you hated it.
I didn't know it was going to be that big.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't trust your recommendations anymore. Sorry.
Well, I can.
I did.
But
I did
what do
not
you
watch
guys think
Suicide
about
Squad.
James Gunn coming back on the project?
Yeah, I think there's like two separate conversations. Hopefully, I won't forget both of them because they occurred simultaneously. But the first conversation is how do we handle like famous people or people in general that we know who have done mistakes in the past? You know, is there room for change? Is there room for growth? And I think the answer is yes. You know?
And for the record, he has apologized publicly for his.
But
past
not only
tweets.
that, he is
Yeah.
actually a champion for diversity and for, you know, women's rights. And he like actually genuinely believes in being a progressive member of society. You know what I mean? So like, not only that, but he's like worked and become somebody who's completely different from who made those tweets like a decade ago.
yeah.
Right.
You know, so like, I think we need to keep him in that we need to have evidence that change is possible in this world, because if we just condemn everybody for everything, then, you know, there's no room for
Yeah.
growth, and neither does social change need to happen. And the second thing is, of course, like, was Disney really gonna...
Yeah,
Was
were
this
they,
part of a
were they
PR
always planning on
plan,
this?
Right?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know if it was part of a PR plan,
I
but
got
was
an
it
opinion on
that
that.
they wanted to, but was it that they wanted to take the pulse of the population to make sure that tickets would still sell? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So I
interesting.
just, I
That
don't know.
sounds like
It's-
something I would do.
It's something to think about.
Walter sounds like
Yeah.
he said wants to
I
say
really-
He has an
something.
opinion.
Yeah.
I really haven't been. First off, I just want to say the PR company that Disney hires or uses, well worth it.
What do you mean?
Well worth it for what you guys did. I think I do. I agree that there's growth. Like I believe James Gunn was apologetic and
his
you know,
cast and crew
and I
vouched
feel
for
like
him
he
repeatedly.
and I feel like he's grown. Like we've all done stupid stuff when we were younger, and we evolve, we change, and sometimes our opinions change, and that's okay. You know, and I didn't even know that you were said it was a bunch of alt-right people who drudged it up. Like,
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, I didn't even know that. So and even then, it's like, yeah, they're just targeting him for whatever reason because of the
it was
change.
political, yeah.
The change in the like you were saying, he was being an advocate for people, women, people of color, etc. So he became a target. That being said, I think Disney and the PR, whether it was or wasn't, I thought it was a brilliant move to just go ahead and show that they were doing something about it, letting him go, and letting his coworker stand up for himself, stand up for him, and he, like they said in the press release or whatever their reasoning, they said because they like the way he explained himself, he apologized, the way he conducted himself after it happened, it came out. And I thought that was brilliant on James Gunn's part. Not brilliant because he scammed, but brilliant by expressing himself.
He handled it with grace,
handled it with
is what you're
grace
saying,
and
yeah.
like expressed like, yes, and admitted to it. Like, yes, I made this mistake and I was stupid and I grew up. I have growth. And that's great. And I think that combined with Disney's PR,
Yeah.
genius.
But, I mean,
Money
like,
worth it.
Does it take that kind of scenario in order for society to learn about that kind of growth, though? You know, that's the thing that really gets me.
I think
I think sometimes it does.
I think it does.
I think
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, and I think it takes that much work to have society accept it or even shut the critics up.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will finish by saying that when I started working on like bigger projects, I went back through my own like Twitter timeline and my own like.
You got to clear those rape jokes.
Oh,
girl.
I didn't have any of
Jesus.
those.
My
Jeez.
Chemical Romance.
That's like a
ones.
I
He's a
know.
bit famous, so you never know.
And then like my old YouTube videos, and I was like, I gotta delete this, gotta delete that. Yeah,
You gotta delete stuff? Show us.
Yeah, I
Show them to us.
I will show them.
We
and
will be
'cause
the judge of
Some
that.
of them I was like, this is a little racist, but like I was doing comedy at the time.
Whoa.
You know, I'm still doing comedy, but like this is a little racist. And everybody was like, dude,
God.
Earl's gonna be funny. I'm like, all right, just put it up, fuck. And afterwards I was like, all right, you got to take this down like now, please.
Oh.
So, yeah, I can attest to being stupid 10 years ago.
No, I
but-
feel you. Remember? Do you guys remember that song "Smack That" or "Smack That"?
Smack that.
All on the floor, smack that. Give me
Yeah.
some more.
Yeah.
So,
No.
Okay. Well, when I was in high school, I simulate. I'm not going to tell you the whole. Okay.
Wait, what did you simulate?
Simulated what?
Simulated. This is turning
Sample, please. Sample.
computer arch.
I like it for you. They're telling us to move on.
Yeah.
Basically, I had to scrap that video from YouTube.
Okay.
Whoa.
We're gonna
Slow
watch
mo,
that.
yeah.
We're gonna find it later.
It's gone.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone. Like you don't even have the
Hey,
raw
here's the
file.
clip.
Find us later.
Roll tape.
Keep going, guys.
Well, we do have some other news from a different front, the video game front. This week started GDC, which is a game developers conference in up in the Bay Area. So basically, GDC is where all of the game developers, they kind of convene every year, talk about new tech, new technology, things that are coming out, and kind of recently they've started doing press conferences, like releasing things to the public. The big news from today is the Google Stadia, which is Google's, I don't even want to say it's like a console. It's Google's new service. They're basically taking like everything that you might think of like a console, your Xbox, your PS3, and putting it online.
What? Which
Everything.
is essentially like Steam, but how's it different from Steam?
It's different in that they're turning consoles into a service. So none of the hardware is at the home end. Everything exists in a Google data center. And basically
Basically, cloud service.
it's
of
cloud
video
service.
games.
So basically everything, you're just getting sent the video
Wow.
of the game that's being sent, from that's running at a remote console.
Are you downloading it, or it's just
You're not downloading anything.
it's like
It's like
streaming it?
they showed this thing where
Basically, streaming.
Yeah,
you're streaming
it
live.
Yeah.
You're streaming your video game
Interesting.
live from a remote computer. So
I'm going to need a fiber optic cable for that.
which is one of the things that I was thinking about, right? But they were talking about the technology that is allowing them to do this. So it's kind of interesting, and I'm super skeptical about everything. But they were showing they actually started doing demos on stage, and I know that these can be like faked or like altered somehow. But if it works theoretically how they're showing it on stage, they have you can be watching a YouTube video or whatever, like a Let's Play, say, and you're like, I like this game, I want to play it. You click on play. It starts a remote server, and like you're in game in 5 seconds.
Wow.
So
the benefit is time, right?
The
You
benefit is
skip
time.
download and upload time.
and
right.
and you don't have there's no requirement for hardware because you can stream to any screen, like a Chromebook, like a tablet,
An iPhone?
an iPhone.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know.
I was gonna say.
You're gonna leave iPhone out in the cold. I have no idea.
And then you just buy like a controller or whatever like that. So that's all you have is a wireless controller.
But you can even use an existing USB controller for PC and anything that I guess connects to PC or USB.
You would still need to buy
Wow.
a screen of your own, or is there a?
Not really. You could. It's basically you're buying a service. You're buying a service that says I want to play games on anything I own that is internet connected.
Wow.
So when's it coming out?
Oh well, I don't know if there's anything.
And when are you
about
buying
that.
it for us?
When am I buying it?
Did they
I
put
don't
out
know.
the retail value of it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the
For
entire.
subscription?
It's the end of the year, more than likely.
So end of the year, no
So
pricing.
it's gonna be a while from now then.
Yeah, I do still think that there's going to be like
$1 million.
a certain. You're right. There's going to be barriers to adopting, right? Because
Sucks to be you if you
God.
live in the middle of country,
Exactly.
podunk,
I know.
nowhere.
Yeah.
where there's not the infrastructure for that kind of internet speed.
Yeah.
Their customer service center is going to blow up.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they're talking about like streaming.
India and Philippines gonna be like, yeah, we got business
I know, and Korea. They
All
have,
of
like,
Korea when they play League of Legends.
Come on, man. We're
got
so left
jobs
in the
coming to you,
dirt.
India, Philippines.
Yeah.
Like,
Customer support.
Our servers never go down.
oh,
South
gosh.
Korea.
But I mean, they're claiming 1060 resolution at 60 frames per second.
Holy
So
shit. I mean, but again, though, like what kind of monitors are going to run that power? Are they going to still sell like monitor components and gaming components?
no, that's the thing. If this model goes through, like all consoles hardware, that's like all obsolete.
So I was gonna say, so this is this meant to be the thing of the future?
I think that's
in
what they're
5 years
trying
from
to
now,
stab
everyone's
at,
gonna be
yeah.
having this. So what's the name of it? It's
Stadia.
Stadia. Yeah.
It's
Like,
literally a service. It's
what's
like
a play-
Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix for games, basically.
Nice.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, there are going to be certain barriers, I think, like internet availability, but
Right.
also, I think people are going to fight back against it. That's just
Like
how
the
it
other
is.
companies.
like Microsoft, anybody that's
Yeah.
first party that creates hardware. You know, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
it's like their major selling.
tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
interesting to see what's going to happen because, like, a couple years ago, they were saying something like Google Glass is going to be the thing of the future, and nobody was buying into
Yeah.
it. You know, I can't remember why. I don't know if it was like
Because
the
somebody
price,
created the term glass hole.
and so like that didn't take off. And then also, I mean, I know the Oculus Rift is a thing,
Right.
but like when that came out, I was like, dude, in like a year, everything's going to be like virtual, but it's not quite that yet.
Right.
But I mean, like the Oculus S is coming out right now, and it's still like, I mean, it's still like the chunky visor type thing. Of course, like the resolution is optimized, and
Right.
like, you know, certain connectivity features are like now like more streamlined. But yeah, I was kind of half expecting VR to kind of like be light years ahead of where it was.
Every
right now.
time, there's always some kind of like VR surge, and I'm like, now's
I
the
th-
time.
I think it's like there's a cost to it. There's a cost to
yeah,
adopting it. It's just
exactly.
too expensive for a lot of
with
people.
the Google Glass, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
The cost is going down though.
Right.
Like
it is
the-
definitely
Yeah,
going down.
but the cost and the
But still,
functionality of what you
yeah.
could do with it is just still.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the probably the biggest barrier for the Stadia if it's going to come out is that it needs to come out with like some kind of tiered pricing because like people are going to pay $40 a month for
Right.
especially casual gamers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
And they're going to have to release games that are Stadia exclusive,
Specifically.
right? In
Right.
the same way that
Yeah.
they sold the Switch with Breath of the Wild.
They
Yeah.
better be really
Yeah.
good games.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Overcooked. I'm just kidding.
Overcooked. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. I love
Anyway,
that game.
some other cool stuff that came out on the internet today is they dropped a Stranger Things season 3 teaser.
You mean like title cards?
Yes,
Or
that's-
teaser. Oh, because there's two things. There's one is the title card video where
And
you
then
see all
there's
the
the rats
the
at the end.
yeah.
Spoiler.
Well, that's the Twitter thing. The Twitter video
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
all the rats.
Right.
Yeah.
And then-
So,
What did you guys
Walter.
think?
what do you think of that?
Why didn't you ask me? Why did you ask Walter?
Caitlin,
Never mind.
what do you think about that? Walter and Caitlin, whoever answers first will get the points.
No, I mean, I it's interesting because like just like in season 2, you're just guessing based off the title.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
mean,
wrote them down.
I
Crucial.
go ahead. What's the?
We have Susie, do you copy? The second episode is The Mall Rats, which explains the rats.
The rats.
Right.
The third is The Case of the Missing Lifeguard. The
Ooh.
fourth is my favorite because it says the sauna test, and I just got chills because you
The
know some
sauna?
Especially
shit,
like Elle.
some
Yeah,
shit is gonna
she's
go
be in a
down
sauna.
exactly
Yeah.
where they discover like something new is gonna happen. I love like the kind of scientific exploration, like
Right.
experimentation that they have, where they're like,
Their
we
powers.
figured it out.
This
Yeah.
is like the
yeah.
suspend-
Well,
or
that-
the sensory deprivation stuff.
Like the little
Right.
tank. that
Like
you
there's
can-
like
yeah.
there are laws of physics to this supernatural world.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Which is
yes.
always really enticing. So yeah, what do you think of the rats, Caitlin?
The rats. I think we all know that the footage of the rats is so brief that
Right.
it's not like I can be like those rats though. Damn, you know,
Like demo dogs.
like let
Those
me
rats,
unpack
though.
those rats. You know, it was like for like 2 seconds.
That rat.
not.
That rat was limping, so
my
I think that.
So therefore, Elle is no. I
Elle is a rat?
I don't. Unlike Walter, I do not carry a flow chart in my bag for what will happen to whom. But yeah, it was nice hearing that theme song again. It's funny when you mentioned Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I was trying to sing the theme song and realized it was like the X-Files theme song.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, I was like,
dun, dun, dun,
yeah, it's like synthy.
dun, 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 dun.
All right, they got it.
It's become a musical.
It's very Giorgio Moroder.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, guys.
I never skip that opening.
Oh, it's so good.
He who skips that opening can die. Like you gotta always go
Right.
through that opening
May
for every
heaven
episode.
smite him.
Hey, Caitlin, that's half of our viewers.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I just ruined
I
the
think
show.
Jokes.
It's okay. We
It's
hate
actually
you
a pretty
all.
short opening compared to other ones too.
Yeah,
so.
I will say for the season 2. When did season 2 come out? That was like 2 years ago now, almost. Yeah, something like that.
Was it?
Season
I would
been
say about
2
a
years.
year,
About a
year
year.
and a half, maybe.
Really?
I don't know. Unless we Google's it.
would've waited
it took
2
a
years.
while, but anyways, when that trailer came out, that's when they employed the holiday theme with Halloween, and then they had Thriller.
Yeah.
And then they had
such a good trailer.
Yeah, and then they had the Ghostbusters
Yeah.
because it
Right.
was during the
Trick or treating.
Bush, and I forget, it was during an election
Reagan.
year.
Right.
Reagan, Bush,
Yeah.
Reagan, I think.
88, yeah.
And I think it was really great how they did that. How they're whoever's in charge of like production design and all that is very much steeped in the culture of the 1980s.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
And the attention to detail and the nostalgia
Right.
that they extract from all of that stuff. It's really well done, I
Yeah.
feel.
I think
You
sorry, go ahead.
You saw the poster, right?
Yeah, I was gonna bring
Wait,
up the
wait, which
poster.
The
Poster.
poster has fireworks. This is 4th
Oh, 4th of July because it's coming this summer.
Yeah.
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 And then the first one, I think, had a bit of a Christmas theme with the Christmas lights
Right.
and all that. So maybe they're doing like a
Oh,
holiday
that's
theme.
cute. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
releasing it for
Yeah.
holidays. and
Exactly.
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're
Same-
like double downing on the 80s like costumes
Oh, yeah.
in that poster.
Yeah.
Them shorts.
The hair.
Them
yeah.
shorts,
Damn
though.
shorts, though.
Yeah.
Shorts,
Yeah. Good times.
So speaking of trailers, something else also dropped today: the Toy Story 4 trailer. Lord of mercy. Kaitlyn, you totally watched that, right?
Have I watched it? Guess what,
have
guys? I am a Toy Story 4 trailer virgin, but we're going to change
Let
that
me
right
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah.
now.
I'm also a Toy Story 4
and so is
virgin.
Jen.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys about it.
No, I want to watch
So
it.
it opens
Oh,
up
let's
on this.
watch
I'm
it.
just kidding. So yeah, I think we're gonna.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch. Let's.
Our
let's watch it.
producer has just informed us that we're going to watch it live.
We're gonna watch it
right here,
live.
right now.
You got it?
Okay.
I don't have my
We're gonna-
laptop.
I have my phone right here.
Okay, we're going to watch it off of Jen's phone.
Okay. Toy Story 4 trailer 1. Surprisingly, that's really hard to say.
Okay.
okay,
It's
hold on,
about to
hold on.
start, y'all.
Okay. We're doing this.
Okay, I'm excited.
Everyone, Bonnie made a friend in class.
Oh, she's already making friends.
No, she literally made.
I
a
love
new
this
friend.
part.
I want you to meet Forky.
Hi.
Forky.
Yes, yeah, I know. Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now. We all have to make sure nothing happens to him.
Woody, we have a situation.
I am not a toy. I was made for soup, salad, maybe chili, and then the trash.
Buzz,
Unless you live in an Asian household where we rewash all the plastic forks.
why am I alive? You're Bonnie's toy. You are going to help create happy memories that will last for the rest of her life.
Huh? What?
Oh, yeah. Forky, come on. Bo?
Hi there.
It's gonna be my new screen
We
or
can't
my
stay.
new
Yes, you
ringtone.
can, boys.
Those porcelain dolls, though.
Oh,
What
yeah,
are you
Bo
doing
Peep.
here?
No time to explain. Come with me.
We need to get back to our kid.
Aw, Sheriff Woody, always coming to the rescue.
Bonnie needs Forky.
Woody, who needs a kid's room when you can have all of this?
Wow. Woody, aren't we going to Bonnie?
We have to find them.
What do we do, Buzz?
What would Woody do?
Jump out of a moving vehicle.
Let's go.
Eh, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Is it me or was Buzz Lightyear a little drunk there?
They have the Bioshock Infinite
Yeah.
song.
Better than I could.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, I
Your
think that
eyes,
was...
Woody. There's plenty of kids out there.
This is a
Sometimes
great
change
song,
can be
just in
good.
general.
It's such a
Teach
good,
this
yeah.
old toy
It's Beach
new
Boys,
tricks.
right?
You'd be surprised.
Bonnie? We're going home, Forky.
On my way, Woody. To infinity and beyond.
That's awesome.
Don't let Woody leave. Kids lose their toys every day.
I was made to help a child. I don't remember it being this hard.
Woody, somebody's whispering in your ear. Everything's gonna be okay.
Well,
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know where I'm gonna cry during the movie.
So which part is the crying part?
Yeah, where will I cry?
Well, for 3,
Or
it
sorry,
was,
sorry.
I don't know
You mean
about
like stuff fly into my eyes?
For 3, it was what the furnace part.
Yeah.
Well, I cried when Andy brings out Woody at the end.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah,
I
that's a good
want
one.
to introduce you to my friend Woody. He'll always be there for you.
Yeah. I think what this one lacks is familiarity because it feels like this weird DLC spin-off that no one asked for.
Why do we
Feels like
sequel
Because I
culture?
thought 3 was
Sequel
the
culture.
end.
Why do we need
Dude,
this film?
Right.
I'm coining that phrase.
No, why-
It's sequel culture.
Seriously,
why do we need this
why do we
film?
need this film? It was a perfect ending
Yep.
with Toy Story
was a perfect
3.
ending.
This is like now they're opening up some new chapter with Bonnie and some fucking
spork.
Spork, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it doesn't even look appealing to me.
Yeah.
It's
That
weird.
looks awful. I'm sorry, that looked bad.
It looked
like bad.
heartless. It
Yeah.
looked like it was lacking a heart, honestly.
I
And
can't stand this anymore. Like, why do they keep making these movies that nobody asked for?
Because they
Sorry,
make
I'm getting really.
tons of money.
Yeah,
They're making tons of
And
money.
merchandising.
Oh,
from
and merchandising
kids.
don't
for like Toy Story. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
How many
understand
people are
the
going to buy that
irony.
spork toy?
Yeah, I know. What is the irony of buying a spork now?
I guarantee you, they're gonna make a spork toy that costs 3 times of an actual spork.
I-
Well, they're gonna start
Absolutely.
making sporks.
I'm going to make that spork character and sell it on eBay.
Right,
On
right.
Etsy.
It's gonna be
you
like
have
a
my
new
own
list
Etsy
of
shop.
Custom
examples.
spork. Custom spork.
Custom sporks.
I can't.
You know that they make titanium sporks.
Titanium sporks.
Really?
Yeah. I want
what?
one.
You
just
must
Do
because-
they
really
have
love
those
soup.
biodegradable sporks?
Oh,
the ones
They
that
have
you can eat?
biodegradable any kind of utensil.
That's true. I
with
don't know
like
what I'm
rice
saying.
Chopsticks?
gluten, right?
I'm just upset right now.
I'm kind of just
Since you're
confusing and
upset,
disoriented.
let's go to the next.
right.
All right.
topic.
Yeah, let's
So,
just
uh,
move
What was
on.
that? Yeah.
Well, I guess
Please.
we're sort of in the same sphere. So what else is happening in the world today is that there's been for a long time talk of the Disney and Fox Marvel merger. If nobody knows, this is the big reason why the X-Men aren't in the MCU. So back in earlier years, Marvel sold their properties to movie companies because they were going bankrupt. And a lot of the stuff that they sold, which were their bigger franchises like the X-Men,
They were taken advantage of by these studios.
right? They got taken. The rights went to Fox and Sony and Universal. So that's a reason why we didn't have Spider-Man or Wolverine or Colossus in these MCU movies. That's why they had to do Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. But that all ends basically today, right? So it's all one big thing. All
Walter, I swear to God.
X-Men finally in the Marvel universe.
It wasn't
Fantastic
until-
Four finally in the Marvel universe.
it wasn't until
Wait,
today
so
that
it's official.
Yeah.
It's official.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
official.
After midnight, it's official.
after midnight.
What? Okay.
So all reverts, all rights are reverting. back
Just
to
in
Marvel.
time for the Skrull with
So-
the Skrull
yeah.
showing up.
Right.
Wait, so Marvel, Disney, and Fox, you said? it's a merger?
Marvel is owned by
Disney.
Yeah. So Disney,
then
Fox.
Disney Fox.
So it's Fisney or Docs.
Disney Docs.
Disney Docs.
Wow.
They basically took over all their entertainment stuff. Like Fox News will still be Fox News.
Right.
Yeah.
But
all the
their
entertainment.
whole entertainment library belongs to Disney now too.
Dude.
Does this mean Anastasia is a Disney princess
Yeah,
now?
that's what I mean.
What? Really?
Finally.
Important news for girls.
Yeah.
To the past.
I'm just kind of scared though because it's like late stage capitalism. like in my eyes, you know what I mean?
in
The
the
ultimate
future,
conglomerate
yeah.
monopoly
Yeah.
is going to own all of
That's
us
what I was
and
saying.
own every
Well, that's-
expression
yeah.
of
In the
In
entertainment.
the future, there will be like one company.
right, that
one big
tells
brother.
you
That's
what
the
you
scary
should
thing.
watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And it already does.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
And I
here's
normally
depressing,
would
Jen.
agree with you on that, but just to have Marvel have all the Infinity Stones is worth it.
You say that now.
This is crazy.
I know.
You say that now.
Because I say that now because I trust Marvel Studios in respecting their content.
They do. They do
Right.
respect their own content. That is
And
very
they
certain.
have done an excellent job, and which is why Disney was able to, Disney was able to support them in like making these moves and taking it from Fox, and even like taking advantage of the whole Sony hacking to get Spider-Man, whichever way that deal was, but it still ends up with Spider-Man being in the Marvel and Disney universe.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I also leery of the whole monopoly thing. It's crazy. It's a giant conflict, right? But these are stories I've wanted to see on screen for like decades.
Yeah.
So it's like it's this weird.
So who
thing.
cares?
And we finally have the technology to do it.
But I mean, like, it's still something we should be wary of.
But I mean, I think if it becomes a problem,
right?
I can foresee that Disney will be. They can at least like, okay, we'll split up, blah blah. But at least at that point, Marvel will still be able to keep Marvel content. I think. I hope.
But yeah.
I hope.
Gonna happen?
I just don't know if like a machine that large can sustain itself with one brain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying they're going to need an ass brain?
Yeah, I think they're going to need buttloads of aspirin.
Oh God.
I honestly just
That's
think
where
that
aspirin
like
comes from. Aspirin.
I like to believe that Disney's smart enough to let Marvel
like do its own thing.
Do its own thing because it's successful. It's making them money.
Right.
Now, if they start failing, then maybe that's when they'll step in or something. But it
Come
would
up
be
with a permutation for that.
It would be
if
sure.
then.
So you have to start with the quadratic equation and work from there.
Ew, quadratic.
Quadratic equations.
Junior high.
But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I'm
Right,
not
yeah.
all the way pessimistic, not all the way
Insane.
optimistic, but like, I guess we're just gonna find out.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But we are going to talk about another comic book franchise right now, that being Umbrella Academy.
Well,
Before we start. Sorry.
Sharky.
I knew it. I was like, someone
Welcome,
please.
Brother Sharkbait. Sharkbait. Ooh ha ha.
P. Sherman, 32. Wallaby Way.
Wallaby Lane.
Wow.
I remembered it again.
Yo, dude. Righteous.
Mr. Toes, my
All right, guys. Before we get into the main topic, which we're gonna talk about. Just let you guys know the main topic. We're gonna talk about Umbrella Academy, Kingdom, and just some gaming stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm
But
excited.
before that, since I wasn't here last week, I'd
Yeah.
like to catch up with you guys and just see how you guys been doing and what you guys been up to since I've seen you last. Since I wasn't here last.
I've just
week.
enjoyed not being around you for a week. So,
I actually got that because I watched the episode and you were really happy that I wasn't here.
I'm kidding.
I don't even think I'm surprised you even remembered my name like during the episode. You were like, what? We
Where's
had a
that
fourth
one guy?
person?
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah.
fourth person?
It just
Wasn't he the
Walpert?
gaffer?
his absence was so refreshing.
Walgreens?
Walgreens.
Walgreens?
Yeah. I
Walgreens?
think Walgreens.
Walton.
Walt Whitman?
Walt Whitman.
I'm
Walt
kidding.
Whitman?
Sure you
We
are.
definitely felt your absence. There were a few moments where things were going perfectly, and usually they get screwed up by you.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt
That's
your
right.
absence. Yeah.
I am Radical X.
I wish you could have been there for the Big Thunder Ranch moment and the.
I was
harder
watching
moments.
you guys from a distance, and I was like, I wish I could comment on that. Like when you guys started talking about Captain Marvel and everything, I was like, I wish I was there.
It went so well.
We missed you for
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, we
'cause-
did.
Yeah.
But
Mr.
that's what
Marvel.
happened.
Anyway.
And-
But now we'll never know because we won't let you talk about it.
Yeah, at all. Jen, what you been up to?
I've just been continuing to play Detroit Become Human, and I realize now I'm in love with Connor.
That's okay.
Wow.
Oh my god.
My name is Connor.
Okay.
Who's
I'm
the voice actor?
android sent by CyberLife.
A hot
Brian
guy.
DeChart, who
I
is
don't know this.
married to his Detroit co-star Amelia.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Yeah, and it's like a
nepotism
fairly
at its
recent.
Were they already married?
No, married.
So they met as
They met
androids?
on set.
That's adorable.
Wow.
adorable.
That, like,
Oh, okay.
And they got
Yeah.
married as
That's
humans.
cool.
how Hollywood.
Yeah, I didn't even realize, like, actually, one of my fellow CalArts classmates, Dana Gourier, is playing Rose in Detroit Become Human. And I was like,
Oh,
oh my
cool.
God, it looks exactly like her and
I
sounds
can
like her.
attest to
So
this.
they used
And
her
yeah,
face
so
and
great.
like.
I was at her house
Wow.
and
Yeah.
she's like,
So
this girl looks familiar.
Yeah.
And then she looked up, she's like, I know her. Oh my God.
yeah, it's just
I'm playing you right now.
So then from that moment, I knew that they were all mocapped after real life people and real life
Right.
voices.
Yeah.
And then I stalked
like
the
Earl.
shit out of Brian
Yeah.
Descartes. And I just am just absolutely enamored with this person.
Do you know these people, Earl? Aren't you guys
you
all
know?
like
No.
Don't you guys all go to a meeting or something?
Yeah, the
you guys,
mocap
like,
actors
mocap
meeting.
voiceover.
mocap
Monthly meetings or
monthly
something?
meetings.
Mocap
Mo-
group.
MCMM.
Movo.
We have a secret chant that we
Mocap.
do actually.
Mocap. Ooh ha ha. welcome.
How did you know?
Change it.
She's been
Next
stalking
channel.
your meetings. Yeah.
But anyway, Detroit is a really fun game. So far, it plays like a choose your own adventure, except there's clearly only one story objective, but there are different like shades to that story. Like
Let's
it could
talk-
be more of a good character, more of a bad character,
Well,
depending on how
let's talk
you-
about your
how you
personal
choose.
life.
My personal life?
I heard you
Let's
guys.
not.
Wait, you heard what?
I heard
didn't say
you
anything, I swear.
guys
What?
got into your film.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I
You
almost
got
had like
really
a heart
tense really
attack.
quick right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caitlyn knows all about my personal life, so I was like, Caitlyn, you better not say anything.
Anything. I swear.
It's all right. I know all
And
about
also-
Walters.
Yeah. No. Well, we mentioned on the podcast last time the film that we made.
Yeah, weren't
got
you listening,
into-
Walter?
Well, no,
got
more
into
people
a
are
film
watching now that I'm here.
Oh.
So it's,
I mean, it's nice. Hopefully, we get into more film festivals
Yeah.
this year. It would be nice.
I heard there's a cool ass dude in a Jon Snow costume. In
Oh, that's right.
Are
Walter,
you in it?
yes.
I forgot he's in it.
We totally forgot you were in it as
Yeah,
well.
that's how forgettable you are.
That's how much I
Yeah.
blended in
No,
and
no.
I was
He-
the Jon Snow
He
character.
plays Jon Snow in a Halloween party. So he's one
Oh,
of the
got
party
it.
goers. Yeah.
Right.
He steals
Hilarious.
the scene at one point because there's a really
That's
awkward
true.
moment, and then
They just take my
Walter
clothes off.
like drinks his cup, and it's like really awkward.
I'm really a great cup drinker, as you can
Nice.
see.
Anyway, so yeah, he's in it.
Yeah.
Everything.
right.
How about you, Earl? What you been up to?
Chilling. That's my standard answer. Yeah, chilling, man.
You always say that. You never talk about yourself, Earl.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
Your fans
Are you
want to
hiding
know.
something?
What if he's just chilling?
What if he's not really a voice actor?
I know what it's all. My IMDb is
Oh.
all like fabricated.
What if he's a
Lies.
pathological liar to make his life look more exciting
just
than it
a high
I mean, you
actually
can't
is?
edit your own
Sophia.
IMDb.
Yeah, you can. Last night.
Yeah.
I've just been playing video games, kind of watching. The new WoW patch dropped, so 2 new allied races, the Colterians and the Zandalari trolls.
Yay.
Yeah.
He smiles guiltily.
But also,
Wow.
I did another podcast with a couple of friends.
Ooh.
They're called the podcast is called Strength in Gaming, but they had me on as a guest talking about video games
Yeah.
and PanGeekery.
Awesome.
You talked about us?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, wow.
They're totally
I
fans.
hope you got viewers
Really?
from who listen to you
of,
there.
of both of you, not us.
Not us.
Yeah, totally fans.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Strength
We
in
got our
Gaming.
first
What's up?
fanboys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, apparently.
Yo, write letters. Write to us.
I'll tweet.
My email is
I've already tweeted out the link, but I'll tweet it out again.
Yeah.
So,
So they can slide into Jen's DMs.
yeah,
oh
totally.
my
absolutely.
god. My email is fuckoff@gmail.com.
Whoa! We don't. Why must you alienate?
Could have sworn I had that one, but fuck off.
She means that in the most caring, sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yo,
just
don't
means,
mansplain my actions. My email.
It just means you need to slide into her
the show.
DM.
Yes
Oh
means
my
yes.
gosh.
And no
Cool.
means
Well-
slide into my DM.
Can I just say slide in my DMs? It just sounds dirty.
You're just
Let
saying
me
that
just
because you wish
slither
someone
in.
would slide into your DMs, Earl.
Damn.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, jeez.
Our producer's like, guys, let's
I
move
mean,
on.
I just
Enough
want
with
to
the
say,
DMs. Enough with the sliding.
I did miss you guys. I'm glad to be
We
back
missed
with
you
y'all.
too, Walter. Yeah.
Okay.
And for some of you guys, it's gonna see me like on screen. It's the next few episodes is gonna.
It's
I'm gonna
just-
get more shaggy and shaggy because I have to grow out my facial hair, and my
Why?
hair.
Are
I
you
have
doing
to,
no shave? No. But
No, it's not
November.
November.
It's not even November.
No. Like,
It's not
I'm
November,
supposed to be
Earl.
in my friend's film, so he wanted me to be like
Method.
very, yeah,
Look at that.
Very nice.
doing, yeah.
Nobody
method.
ever asks me not to shave for a film. I'm just kidding.
Just your body.
Yeah. Just
Whoa, my God.
Anyways,
Anyways, let's move on to the
Umbrella
topic.
Academy.
Moving on.
What up?
Let's talk about Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
For some of you guys who still haven't watched Umbrella Academy, it's a show on Netflix. You got to check it out. I finished it. Earl has finished it. I think the ladies are on
I
episode 8.
finished Episode 8.
I'm
She's
still on episode 8.
on
Okay.
episode 8.
So
So I got to be careful. I think Earl and I have to be very careful of what we
About-
talk about because without revealing anything.
I do too, because some major things happen.
Some people
Yeah,
are
I suppose so.
slow.
Well,
hey,
so-
I tried.
Right.
I'm ahead of our producer, so.
Damn.
Dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on episode 6.
Even if we were grading on a curb here, like we're still held to the high standard of them.
I know.
completing the
So-
episode.
Damn, Asians.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Well, let's talk about this. Like, what do you guys
Yeah.
think of the season so far up to episode 8? Like, I'm kind of curious on your thoughts on like the acting, the casting, even the production value, and even the flow of the writing. You know, I'll go with Jen. You first.
Oh, really? I was gonna ping it over to Kaitlyn so that she, no, because like she's like shortest along, and so if you reveal what you've been talking
I
about
see.
so far,
Okay,
we
you
wouldn't
reveal.
have to,
True,
you know,
that's good.
spoil
Good
anything.
point. Good
Yeah. So the production value. You wanted to know about what I think with the production value.
Yeah, acting. Like, what are your thoughts
Or
in,
story.
so far? What you've
Story.
seen and
Yeah.
how it's flowed.
When I saw the pilot, I was impressed because, as I had said on episode 1 of the show, in my head it was going to be something akin to Deadly Class, which we shall not speak about on this episode.
I don't think it's doing very well.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard much about it either. Yeah. Sorry, but Umbrella Academy was a lot of people were recommending it to me, and so I watched it. I really liked the first episode. I love how it's got that kind of it's kind of like a bit of a timeless, quirky feel. Last episode we were talking about how we weren't sure what the time period was, and as I've progressed further in the show, now that I'm on episode 8, I know that there's a lot of like time jumping, tessellation type stuff going on. And I think that's what explained to me the reason behind the old school Walkmans and the lack of iPhones or cell phones.
Right.
One of the episodes, there's a character, I think Allison's in the library, and she's using some kind of old school like analog computer or something.
No, it's called a microfilm.
What's it called?
Microfilm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not as old as you, so I'd never heard.
I was there when microfilm was the brand new technology.
Oh,
yes.
really?
Wow.
Okay.
You
It's called
invented
a
it?
microfilm.
Wow.
A microfilm
and microfiche
or
too.
microfiche?
Microfiche.
Okay,
Microfiche.
so she's using that, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then they get into the bit where number 5 is kind of doing this time traveling thing, and they finally reveal kind of like the main. I'm not sure if it's the main baddie, but the people pulling the strings here, which is basically that. There's a committee or of some kind that's in charge of all the special events
Time
that go on in
committee or something
history.
like that.
A commission, if you will. And they are the ones who are in charge of determining what happens and doesn't happen in history in regards to major political or historical events. In a weird way, it kind of reminded me of The Good Place, because The Good Place,
Really? Right.
yes, because
Yeah,
in
I
The
could see
Good
that.
Place, they use old school nostalgic time elements to kind of construct a world in which everyone's on typewriters. They send messages in little tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of had that feel, and they're jumping all around.
And that the Time Commission was like very what was that Ethan Hawke movie where they were time agents? Like it literally was like that. And they wore black suits and they did that. I can't.
Oh,
man.
I forgot what
In
you're
the
talking
90s?
about. Yeah.
In Ethan Hawke, right? It was Ethan Hawke who was the
I
lead.
don't remember.
Anyway, there was a movie similar to that, but it was very Time Commission where they
Right.
fixed the timeline. And I always find that interesting. And Earl, what did you think about like directing and writing?
I think it was great actually. Up to episode 7, it always helps, I think, when they have a source material to go off of, which they did because this is an existing comic book series. And but overall, it's everything looks good. Everything is the performances are directed well. The only thing I'm worried really about is I kind of wish I knew more at this point, right? At episode 7 about this Leo guy. Or what's his name?
Which one? Luther?
No. Vanya's boyfriend.
Oh, Leonard.
Leonard.
Or Harold. Yeah.
Harold.
Yeah.
About his reasons why. Because right now they're a little like.
Man, I was so suspicious of that cat the moment.
Yeah,
wanted to like him.
I really wanted to. I was like,
I wanted
please
to
don't let
like
him
him.
be a dick.
Yeah.
And then
Wait, remind me again. Is
You're
he
a grown
is
man
he
trying to get
actually-
violin lessons.
Hold on.
Is he actually one of the 43 babies who were born on that day?
Cannot tell
We
you.
can't say anything.
Can't say
But
anything.
I don't know that answer either.
Oh, okay.
I know the answer, but I can't say anything.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know much about him.
like I wish I had.
We
They
do though.
It
but
will-
I don't.
it will be explained.
It will be explained. I think I've already seen the explanation.
Wait, I know that his dad was abusive.
Spoiler alert for anyone.
Yeah.
Cover your ears if
And
you haven't
then
seen
he
it.
wanted to be part of the academy.
Right.
And then they laughed at him, and then
Yep.
he killed his dad and got jail for 12 years. So I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're saying there's more.
Of course there is.
Oh, okay, of course. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we mean by nosediving upwards.
Upwards.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You saw that bit?
Yeah.
I'm coining that phrase. Where basically, like the story unravels, right? Like there's a lot of setup. We're like barraged with setup from the start. Now that we
Yeah.
sort of understand what the world is doing, our expectations are now, free to be warped.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and so like gearing towards the end, I've noticed that with a lot of these like Netflix like release 10 episodes all at once, it like has this natural ebb and flow to it, right?
Mhm.
So then like so far what I'm feeling after finishing episode 8, which I will not mention in detail, it like skyrockets,
Right.
after
quick.
what has felt like, like a plateau gaining steam.
Do you feel like it skyrockets in episode 8? Or because from what I've seen, it's kind of like picking up, but I wouldn't use the word skyrockets. But I haven't seen the latest episode.
It skyrockets.
I would
in
say
episode
8
eight.
is probably the point of.
That's
Yeah.
where it starts.
The point
getting
of
Well,
crazy.
no
there's
return.
another.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the writers did a great job in like
Yeah.
either kind of like misdirecting
Right,
the
right.
viewer.
There's a lot of misdirecting.
And
Right.
yeah, so when I got to the final episode, I was just like,
Right.
what?
I think
Here's the thing for me. I think there can be too much misdirection.
I agree.
Yeah, that's-
I
there's truth
think if
to
you're
that.
really picky, you could say
Yeah.
the show's a bit sloppy.
Right.
Because there's
Yeah.
so much like, oh yeah, you guys don't know this, so let's go back in time to show you this.
entirely dependent on suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Which I feel
almost
like
the entire
I've
premise.
seen comments and like people
Yeah.
talk. That's why they don't like
it's
it.
a little
because-
convoluted. I
yeah.
will agree.
Yeah.
Like for example, Klaus.
Yeah.
He goes back in time to the Vietnam War.
Right.
And then he
falls
comes
in love
back.
with-
yeah,
yeah.
but that was all told through flashbacks.
Right.
And I was like, why should I care about this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know if it comes back and if it's important.
Yeah.
It probably is.
And it's yeah.
I didn't
that's
like how they
weird.
did
And to
that.
me, like,
I know. It felt like
Bizarre and random.
they
yeah.
made it kind of cheapened it, right?
Yeah.
It did, absolutely.
So-
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a formula that I've seen in like writing, not American screenwriting, but like
I know what you mean.
European or even Asian
Other
films.
like Asian films.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Where
Right.
it's kind of like
They're
all
like-
of a sudden like
they're
left
trying to catch
fields.
you up.
Yeah, there's a left.
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
And they might have had a whole thing about that, but they just cut it for time. Who
That's what I
knows?
mean.
To
Yeah.
Klaus's defense, now I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm spoiling anything for you,
That's
but I
fine.
think the
Yeah.
reason why they did the Vietnam War thing was just to show his love for this person and his love for Dave, I believe.
Yeah,
it
his
was,
name's Dave. Yeah.
is the reason why he starts getting sober and therefore gains his powers of seeing the dead back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
That
just-
was
I just-
the plot
I-
device.
yeah, it just-
It's
I
a
do
plot
see-
device. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Complete
plot device.
And it
Otherwise,
just-
it doesn't exist for any
It doesn't
reason.
matter. Yeah.
Well, without
It just
that
became
reason,
rushed.
It was
Well, of
so
course.
rushed, and I
Of
didn't
course,
care.
There was
Yeah.
no time for it. But
Yeah.
like Klaus needs to have a reason to suddenly
Yeah.
be sober after not being sober for so
Yeah,
long.
but it would have been great to go on that journey with him. You know, I'm
Right.
disappointed we got.
Sure, but
it
that was also like, I don't know, 5 years spent in
No, just 10
Vietnam?
months.
Yeah.
10
10
months.
months?
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
months. But still, yeah.
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Right.
Vietnam.
Sometimes I guess the show is a victim to its own format, right? Because we can't
Absolutely.
have something, if we're trying to get that entire story done in a certain amount of episodes, then they have
Yeah.
to, and things have to get sacrificed, which sucks. But,
Yeah.
Which,
know.
although I do love some, like it was pointed out to me that Klaus is from that show I mentioned the
Misfits?
first time,
The
Misfits.
Misfits,
and
yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, he is very familiar, and that's why the style also, because I didn't look it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the writers from Misfits are like jumped
Are
on
here.
board.
Oh,
Right.
too.
yeah.
I'm sure Gerard Way maybe was a fan of Misfits.
Yeah.
Probably.
I can see
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And before we wrap this up, I'm kind of curious for some of you, and I'm gonna direct this to you, Jen. Like, how would you compare Umbrella Academy to like MCU fare, like the Netflix Marvel universe? Like, have you seen any of the like Daredevil, Luke Cage, and
all the street level stuff.
I'm
How-
going to pass this over.
Like, is that Jessica Jones too?
to Earl.
Jessica
Actually,
Jones?
Jessica Jones I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
and how do you think it compares to like those kind of like the comic book?
Well, here's the thing. I think it boils down to difference in style. The
Yeah.
MCU universe already has a very like comprehensive, like formalized and strategized way of presenting its own style, right?
Yeah.
Even the style of humor is very similar. You know,
It's all the same.
I mean, I enjoyed Jessica Jones, if merely that like she seemed ordinary. You know what I mean? And like even her powers are like rather like one step above like normal. I mean, she's very powerful, but she's also more relatable to me than say, you know, Thor, for example. But as far as Umbrella Academy goes, I think it got so popular because it dared to be the structure that it was.
Yeah.
You know, and it dared to put together so many different types of fandoms. Like Kaitlyn brought up in our first episode, it's like some kind of punk, right? It's not steampunk, but it's some kind of
punk.
Nostalgia punk of
Neo-punk.
Yeah, but it does feel like it was created of a fan of all these different geeky lores.
Right.
You know, time travel, superpowers, what is it, like gothic kind of trauma stories
even all
of
the
kids.
costumes,
Even
the outfits, the makeup, the
monsters.
hair, you know.
Right.
Well, what about action and fight scenes? Like, what do you guys think of the fight scenes? Like, me personally, I do enjoy the fight choreography. It does remind me like they were borrowing a little bit from like the Daredevil fight choreography.
Kind of gritty and
like long shot to I mean
Bombastic, too.
nothing as long shot as like the Daredevil stairway or hallway scenes, but sorry.
You know, sorry, something I did notice now that you've brought up fight scenes is that in Umbrella Academy, things seem a little bit more nihilistic. Is that
a little bit? Yeah.
They're absolutely
because like
we are dealing with the apocalypse here.
Right, exactly. Like even in the fight scenes, you could tell like I mean, Five is just a boy in appearance, but he does this like deadly fight sequence and it almost like milks it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more gratuitous than Marvel would ever do.
I can see that. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Except for Punisher.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen the Punisher. I think
you gotta
Marvel
see it.
tries to stay within the PG-13 realm. I could be wrong.
Sort of.
And you guys got to remember too that the Marvel, Netflix, and TV is different from
They're
Marvel
very
Studios.
different.
Absolutely.
Executive producers are different.
Yeah.
You're right. It's Jeff Loeb on the TV end,
Yep.
right? So
And so they go through a different thing. But like I said, I really do enjoy Umbrella Academy. I think you guys all recommend.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah,
enjoying it so far.
Definitely gonna finish it.
I'm personally really looking forward to season 2.
yeah, same here.
And it's probably not going to be released for another year or whatever.
Well, yeah,
knowing
you have
how
to produce that thing, right?
I just wish it comes sooner rather than later.
Who knows? They might be pulling a Voltron and like they already have a whole bunch of stuff like in queue, and they're just gonna drop it like one day.
Drop it like it's
randomly.
hot.
Like it's hot. Drop it
like
like
out of
it's
nowhere,
hot.
6 months from now. Who knows?
Speaking of dropping it like it's hot, we got. I think Kaitlyn's gonna drop it like it's hot.
Oh,
Because she's here to talk about another awesome show on Netflix. Can you tell me what's the title of this show?
It's
What is
called Kingdom. Kingdom.
I think that this is the first time I've ever said "Brah" in connection to comics or
Oh man.
new things every day though. So.
What I did when I got the new comics came out.
Yeah, man.
You go "Brah, brah," walks into comics on Tuesday, comic store, and they're
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Can I get everything from my pull pile?"
So Kingdom. Kingdom is a South Korean TV series. It's Netflix's second original South Korean series. 사랑해요.
사랑해요.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 감사합니다. Okay, anyways. I'm sorry for
We're so
butchering
fucking racist
that language.
for
No.
Asians for being Asian. Okay.
Kingdom is a TV series
See, I
written by
abstain
Kim
from all
Eun-hee
that
and
now.
directed by Kim Song-hun. Premiered earlier this year on January 25th. It is a Korean medieval era period piece that also happens to be about zombies.
Yes.
So take that, Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
Damn.
I saw the first episode today, and I think we've all seen at least
Right.
the pilot, right?
Yeah.
It reads a bit like kind of like a Game of Thrones inspired
Absolutely.
Joseon era piece with zombies instead of White Walkers. What did you guys think?
I thought it was pretty damn awesome.
Pretty what?
Pretty damn awesome.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty damn
awesome.
You darn tootin'.
I grabbed me my moonshine from over there, and I was like, so
Exclusive voiceover acting techniques right there, guys.
But it was good. I dug the whole like the political drama because I guess we're kind of in that stage in storytelling where we all love that stuff right now. But I don't care. Give me more of it. You know, back in 20 years from now we may talk crap about it, but whatever.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think you can
so?
tell when something's going to age well.
Right.
You could just tell from the first episode. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, like the cinematography is so great too,
Beautiful.
and I love that they took their time. Like that they know how to use suspense.
I was going to say the same. They take their time.
Yeah,
it's not rushed in any single way,
and you can tell it's not American because they take their time.
I was just taking a shower today and thinking that. I said in the podcast today, I'm going to say how I really liked how. I oftentimes like how Korean dramas take their time. Like in American shows and movies, the lead guy and girl, they're gonna have sex by act 2 or something.
Right.
You know, with Korean dramas, they stretch that shit out to like episode 14, and he touches her hand, and you're like, ah! You're so excited.
I can't stand that shit.
Oh, you want them
Ditto.
to have it fast and hard? Is that what it is?
No. I would like a happy medium.
Just kidding.
I would like a happy medium.
No, I like it when they take their time, and I like how this show, they are setting up the socio-political factors
Right. That's
within the
amazing.
kingdom to show the kind of what we're dealing with narrative-wise. Instead of just going straight to the zombies, we don't even see the zombies till the end of the episode.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which was a great reveal.
Which is a great reveal,
Right.
increasing the fear.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
I like that.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
and
scary.
I thought so much about it that I've binged on it. And
You
I-
finished
watch
it?
it all?
I finished all of it.
Oh my
it's only 6
gosh.
episodes,
Yeah, so
right?
I couldn't.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
only
it's only 6
It's
episodes.
already been renewed for a second. They're already filming the
And
second
it's-
season.
Sadly, it's not going to come out. Second season's not going to come out till next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they could have done all that and like they're gonna like put everything in queue and drop me at what time in like 6 from.
Man, yeah,
Minutes to
I don't know. I really
Okay,
enjoyed it.
calm
And just,
down.
and just the way.
I didn't understand.
Me neither. Halfway through, I was like, I'm just gonna stop.
I think he had a
I got too
seizure.
excited.
Somebody check him.
I'm trying to sign into my Twitch right now, but it's like
I think one half his face is drooping. No, I really think it's awesome too. Like the way how far are you guys along?
I've only seen the first episode.
Okay, because it sorry,
I watched the first 2.
Did I just mess you guys up?
Sorry. All right, I'm listening. Okay.
Oh my god.
I really think it's unique and original, like how the cause of the zombie outbreak, which you guys haven't gotten to
We haven't
yet.
found out yet.
Oh right.
Yeah, I thought that was unique and original.
It
And
does feel unique. The world
Yeah.
feels unique, even
Yeah.
though the themes are similar.
yeah, and also just because we're so used to be like, oh yeah, shoot him in the head, or just like,
Yeah,
don't you know,
right,
they
right.
chop their head off.
Yeah.
da-da-da.
Right.
But like now you got to consider this is a period piece. These guys are like, you know, for all intents and purposes, they've never watched TV. They're isolated in their small little towns and villages.
Yeah.
They worship
Yeah.
their emperor.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have elections and really that much freedom of thought.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true.
So now they're like, and I think that it's great that they explored that, like how, and I guess no spoiler alert, but like you'll see how that influences its unique way of spreading the zombies.
Of
you know,
course.
Spreading
Yeah.
the disease.
spreading
or
the cause of
Oh.
what makes you a zombie. Kind of like because Walking
Because
Dead.
they haven't
and things-
revealed it yet.
They haven't revealed. You'll see how
We
and
just
why.
know, like in the southern provinces, people are being quarantined because there's some kind of mysterious disease that's taking over.
Correct.
Right.
And pay attention because they do. And the detail of, and you guys saw the end already. Like
Yeah.
what got everybody, what he did, right?
Right. Right.
Right.
Well, they ate it.
Yeah, we're not
Spoilers?
revealing anything.
Can we do
Spoilers?
spoilers?
Spoiler alert for
that one.
anyone
This is just for
who
the first
hasn't seen the
episode.
first
First episode of
episode or
Kingdom.
anything of Kingdom. But about like what he
What
put-
spread it, right?
the soup but why he did that. Like in later episodes,
They'll explain why he
they'll
did that.
explain why he did. Not literally, but it's like almost in passing.
Right.
Interesting.
Why
Okay.
and you kind of see like okay, it's still a dick move what he did, but I kind of understand where
Why
he
he
was
did.
coming
Got
from.
it.
You know, because
Did
you
he
know the
say-
scene I'm talking about.
Is it that when he's talking to Duna Bay?
No, it's a lot later.
Is
like,
it further on? Like
It's
past?
later near the end.
Oh,
like
okay, okay.
What?
I don't know.
Wait,
what
you're talking about the guy who made the soup,
made
right?
the soup.
the guy who made
No,
the
no,
soup.
I didn't see him turn into a zombie.
But he gives a reason
didn't-
why.
He does not turn into a zombie, right?
No, he
No, no,
doesn't.
he,
He
gi-
ate the
he
soup,
gives a
didn't he?
reason why,
No, no,
but
no, no.
also
I assumed that he didn't.
I thought he did eat the
I
soup.
assumed
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Even though he made it.
Yes.
Oh,
He
yeah.
himself didn't eat it. Okay,
Which
all
means
right.
it was planned.
Dick.
Right.
Is he sick? Because he's got
No,
a bandage. I thought
no,
he was
no,
sick
he was,
too.
he was wounded.
Oh, he's wounded, so he's not sick.
But you'll
Okay,
you'll
makes
learn
sense. Yeah.
really later on why he is who he is, why he's so good at like
Right.
Gotcha.
being. He's such a badass on his own right, and also
badass.
but
Badasses in
I
this
kind of
show.
didn't really like him, so we'll see how that changes.
he's yeah.
I could tell he's gonna be a main character. Like there's
Well,
a lot of
yeah,
that's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
kind of.
He's gonna be part of the
Yeah.
ensemble cast.
I'm
Let's just
excited.
say.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm still Team Bay. Like Duna Bay.
Duna Bay is
Team Bay.
bagels. Yeah.
Duna Bay is
She's
Bay,
great.
man.
Yeah.
I loved her in Cloud Atlas. I was like,
Yeah.
Cloud Atlas is
Well, and also she's gonna. I think I read somewhere today that she's gonna appear on Variety, the cover. She's
Oh, really?
gonna be,
Oh, really?
she's
That's
gonna be
great.
the first Korean.
For this or for
Probably. I mean,
yeah.
this is getting kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got like a 98% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like it's doing very well for itself.
I mean, the costume design,
Yeah,
the set design.
Wow.
Here's my thing. Because it's I don't see I've only seen 2 episodes, right?
Oh, okay.
And because it's this is going to be a horror thing. Like I just hope with my heart of heart that they don't fall into like the stupid
They devolve into the
Yeah.
like, escape the zombie thing.
exactly
yeah,
that
yeah.
but also they don't rely on stupid decisions to be the impetus for like a plot, you know. So
Yeah.
which
yeah.
happens in a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah.
can, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a few situations I think that you might, but it's
It's a
still
little too convenient.
No, I still think they, in my personal opinion, I still think they did a good job in like,
right.
and it's like circumstances. Like they end up doing this. There's a few spots I think I have to rewatch it again, but there's a few spots I was like, but you could have just done that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but I'm also
Yeah.
with a lens of being watching tons of zombie movies.
Oh, I haven't seen a ton of zombie movies to be totally honest.
Oh, I just want to ask you guys, what did you think about the zombies itself?
I like the zombies.
I was having like hard home feels from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones
Right.
when they look
like,
underneath
because
the
they're
door.
the fast zombies,
Well,
right?
they heighten the tension by
Yeah.
having you wonder like what's going to be on the other side. And
but
then they
also
show- yeah.
you don't even know if they're actually dead really.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I assume they're dead.
Right. They look
Yeah.
dead,
They're acting
but
like zombies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
I'm not
okay.
gonna-
I see you chopping on someone's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
great.
like the Crown Prince. Kind of resembled Jon Snow in his own way.
Yeah.
you know?
Because he's illegitimate.
Right.
Yeah. So he's the underdog.
Yeah. But he's also like, you know, in search of knowledge that could defeat the White Walkers.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. It's
You
very
know?
Game of Thrones-esque.
It is.
I feel.
Yeah.
There's going to be a leader zombie, and I don't know.
Well, it's just the whole political aspect too of like the royal court and
Yeah.
like
Right.
there's this another layer of a political drama.
Yeah, because there's the
That's
Queen's
happening.
family,
The Cho-
clan,
the Cho clan.
like Chong clan. They're the ones who are like kind of taking.
Who's
I'm actually kind of confused. So the prince really did write those edicts
Yes.
and post them. around.
spoiler alert for
Sorry.
anyone again.
Yeah, but why did he do that again? I don't think it was 100%
They'll
clear
explain
to
it.
me.
They'll explain it
Oh,
like
okay.
in
Because
2,
when he
3.
says it, we're like, "What? You did do it?"
Like yeah, and then people weren't because even his bodyguard wasn't sure
Yeah,
if.
yeah.
Are you just saying that,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
really
no,
did?
but I think he really
like,
did do it,
They
yeah.
explain it later on, and he does explain why he did or he did not. I don't know.
I just
I'm not
gotta
gonna
watch
say.
it. Should we finish this thing by next week?
well,
Oh man.
maybe. Yeah.
I think
Maybe. Finish it
it's
well.
only 6
Yeah, I know.
episodes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I just have no life.
Well, we have something else to
Netflix
explain. We have to explain a game.
Oh right.
Yes.
Coming up, Jen has a game
Dun,
to explain.
dun,
Oh, I really hope we're not dancing for this game.
dun.
Jump on
This
it.
is our game
Jump on it.
explaining.
Okay, no. Okay,
Dance.
so game explaining. This is basically like Super Fight, except in the MCU. So
Ooh.
I'm
Okay.
gonna give you all a character, and we're gonna go through 3 rounds. 2 face off. Then the winner of that round faces off with the second
Face
person.
Off?
Yo, let's just relax. Let's relax and be
Y'all
adults,
know what I was
right?
talking about. Y'all know where I was coming from, right?
And then,
Can I
and
be
then
John
after
Travolta?
that, you know, the winner of the first 2 rounds gets to face off against the last person. And basically, so what happens is, let's start off with Walter and Kaitlyn.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm going to give each of you a character from the MCU universe, and you're going to have to debate as to why your character would win. In a fight. And then Earl gets to be the judge of which of you wins.
Oh,
okay?
Please go easy on me.
So, no, it's okay. So, so Walter, you're going to be Thor.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Kaitlyn, you're going to be the Flurkin, the cat.
The Flurkin.
The Flurkin.
Right.
From Captain Marvel.
Got it.
Okay, go, fight.
I would use my tentacles and wrap them around your face until they were applying pressure to your eye sockets, and then your eyeballs would slowly pop out.
But
of your face.
as Thor, I can fly and I can go in a distance, and I will strike you with my lightning, and then throw my hammer around you, so you think you're still attacking me with your tentacles, and the hammer will come right behind you and just smack you upside the head and smash through your brain.
That's freaking hilarious because you didn't know I have extra tentacles that don't just come out of my face.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. What do you know about Flurkins?
I know
Is this
Flurkin.
canon?
Yeah, I was like, you have to go with canon.
Can we ask how many tentacles does Flurkin
Where's our
have?
researcher? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thor with his powerful lightning, basically.
Listen,
and I have.
listen, yo.
Doesn't a Flurkin also have powers to swallow stuff?
Just
Or
never mind.
there's definitely some kind of like.
When it swallows stuff, when it does take it in, it goes into a pocket dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So what would really happen is while I was, wrapping my tentacles around your face so that your eyeballs were slowly popping out of their sockets.
Oh wow.
I would use my powers,
Cat powers.
my cat powers to dodge your little hammer coming at me, because we all know cats have like a sixth sense, even Flurkins.
But it's not a cat, it's a Flurkin.
But a Flurkin has the powers of a cat as well, because it's in the body of a cat.
As Thor, I have destroyed gods and planets.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Earl, who would win in the fight?
Wait, I'm not finished.
No, we're not done with the first one. We got to finish up the first round. So, Earl, who wins the fight?
I don't know.
My lightning would destroy you. I would just.
Okay. Say, last line.
While his hammer is coming towards me, I would zip him up into.
But I don't have to. I'm out of your reach because I can literally fly.
I'm already wrapping my.
As Thor, I would never let you get that close to me because I know what you are, because I have been around the 9 realms and I know what a Flurkin is.
Who's the champion? Earl, who's the winner?
Oh, that was tough. I am gonna have to say, God, I feel like I got more feats from Thor. So I'm going to have to go with Thor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thor wins over the Flurkin. So now Thor faces off against you, Earl.
All right.
You are Thanos.
Thor
and Thanos.
Base level Thor, base level Thanos.
That's
Is that where we're
without the
going?
gauntlet?
Or are we going MCU versions?
we're going to go with Gauntlet and final hammer Thor.
Okay.
Kaitlyn, you're the judge of this.
Okay.
We have 1 minute, so face off.
Go ahead.
I think ultimately what it comes down to is that Thanos is infinitely smarter than Thor. I think Thor has more probably battle experience, but in terms of cunning, and we're only sticking to MCU. In terms of cunning, he's got Thor beat.
I think cunning, like Thanos has. I understand you. Thanos has. You have battle experience, just like me. I have fought in the 9 realms, whereas you have like just attacked little small villages that can't really defend themselves. And I have my God Killer, which is now that after messing up and only hitting you in the shoulder, I know now to come around and like have the Avengers attack you in the front, and I will come down behind you with my God Killer and chop you in the brain, like you said in Infinity War.
Right, with the Stormbreaker hammer.
And Stormbreaker, I would just have Stormbreaker cut you in half.
Okay.
Well, but do you think that Thanos would make that same mistake twice?
Of what?
Not counting Thor, and now that he knows that there's an element that can.
He can surprise
hurt him.
Before we Kaitlyn, who's the winner?
Earl.
Okay.
She's just mad
All right.
about losing.
All right.
Say anything.
Final round. The final round is
Petty.
Thanos. Thanos.
Yeah, she did.
Earl.
Yeah.
You guys.
Thanos that won.
We're running out of time. Okay. Thanos, played by Earl,
Okay.
and Captain Marvel.
Oh, and you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's
And
judging?
You both get
All right.
to
All right.
decide. Okay.
I think this is a difficult one because we actually don't know how many feats that Captain Marvel has.
Absolutely.
We know that her power comes from the Tesseract, and well, there's a loophole. If because her powers come from the Tesseract, Thanos is able to control them somehow through the Infinity Gauntlet, then that's kind of an ace in the hole.
They could be 1-to-1 though, because like
Right.
her powers are essentially almost like the power of a supernova or like the charge of a star, right? Like she
right.
moves at light speed. She can like basically, control the energy of a star. Like
Right.
there's almost like a fusion reactor to her. Like it's more than nuclear. So I
Right.
think they might be equal in power.
Okay.
However, what X factor is there that could one up one over the other?
I think it's hard because like if he has the Infinity Gauntlet and it's like fully powered as we're saying, then there's kind of little in the universe that like can meet him in just raw power. So I don't know. Actually, I kind of think.
I actually don't
you guys
know.
are lying.
I think you guys are supposed to be battling each other.
not
You're
like
saying,
helping each other out.
you're analyzing each other's powers. How can I help you? Like,
I know.
No, because like we
No
honestly,
one wins.
no, neither of us
Right.
know the extent to which our powers
Why are you confessing
extend.
to this? Well, I don't understand. Y'all know how to fight.
I honestly just really don't have any bullets.
Yo,
so
let's just
you
shake
should,
hands and be friends.
Just
Yeah,
be
we're
fair.
friends.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
you're not the judges. We're the
We're the
judges.
judges.
So
We
who wins?
be-
No one.
I think I win.
Oh man. All right.
I think the universe wins here.
The universe wins.
The Tesseract.
No one wins.
Flurkin wins. Flurkin
Yeah.
wins. by
But you know
default.
what? I think I would win because I have the Avengers on my side. There, said it, done.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I will take that.
Okay.
You're not
All
supposed
right.
Anyways. You don't just take it. Anyways.
Just take it.
Well, it's because that's what I want to happen.
Earl's like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
The other half.
Otherwise, like
the
honestly,
remaining half.
if they don't come up with a way to circumvent the power of the gauntlet, I don't know what they're gonna do. So,
Right.
Thor's just gonna cut his hand off with
Right.
this with Stormbreaker, man.
all right.
mixing
So,
it with-
Okay. All right. So that's the end of that.
Yes.
We
Time
knocked
comes-
each other out with an impasse.
I know. Just an impen. No, I'm not gonna. An immovable object.
Pass.
An unstoppable force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman and Joker. What?
GG. Good game. So now comes for this week's Geeky Rex. What are you guys playing, watching, or anything you would recommend that you're looking forward to? Kaitlyn.
I'm looking forward to the sequel to Penny Dreadful, which I just found out about right before the show started.
But you're saying, I think you were talking about like there's not going to be, it's not the same cast.
Well, apparently, yeah. Well, Rory Kinnear,
oh, okay.
the monster, is coming. He's going to be back, but he's playing like some kind of doctor or something like that. So they got the same actor, but he's playing a different character, and it's going to take place in L.A. In the 1930s, and I know they're going to touch upon like Mexican American lore and myth.
Interesting.
So that's going to be fun to look forward to.
Awesome.
L.A. Noir.
Yeah, I love LA Noir.
Yeah.
Who's next?
When
Jen?
public transport worked in LA.
Oh, poor me.
Yeah, I'm still wrapping up Detroit Become Human. Again, I'm obsessed with Connor.
Takes a while,
I
yeah.
came across a body pillow of Connor.
I saw in your
What?
Insta story. You freaking weirdo.
I did not buy it. It's $40,
She
and it
did
doesn't even
buy
look
it.
like him. I did not. I did not.
Oh, so that's why you got defensive.
did not.
So that's why you got
I
defensive.
did
When I was like, what's new with you?
I did not.
Body pillow.
You're tearing me apart.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Tearing me apart. Lisa.
But no, and then as soon as I finish that, I'm gonna start playing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll get Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I played the first Tomb Raider. I enjoyed it. I felt like the ending was a little Deus Ex Machina. I was really hoping that science would prevail, but then turns out there was like a supernatural thing going on.
It's always magic.
Did you watch the movie?
I didn't want to.
The one with
even
Alicia
though,
Vikander?
Even though I love,
Yeah.
the
I haven't
character, and
seen
I
it.
love Alicia Vikander, I
love-
just
yeah.
knew that it was not going to
Was
be.
it Link?
that great.
It's like basically a retelling of that
The
first
game?
and
First
kind of the
game.
second movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
second game, but it's different as well. So
Yeah.
there's
I
certain
didn't
things-
watch it because you weren't. No, I did see it, but
So
it would have been
Alicia
better if you
or
were in
Angelina,
there.
Who's better?
and or Angelina.
Really, Angelina looked more the part to me.
No, but the stories are totally different.
Right.
though.
No, I'm just wondering, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
The
I'm a
other
little
movies.
torn there. I do. Like
What was the
Alicia
name of her
Vikander.
co-star
I
in the
love
movie?
Alicia Vikander.
Daniel Wu.
Yeah, Daniel.
Oh.
So he kind of took your place.
He was like several characters smashed into one, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mine included.
Yeah.
So.
He was like mentor, romance,
Yeah, it was
information,
really all over the place.
archaeologist, all in one.
I was like, get it, Danny Wu.
Yeah, Danny Wu.
Yeah, to the Badlands for real. Is there anything else you're gonna check out?
That's it for now. I'm still reading Promethea, which
Okay.
is, the super heroine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, written in part by Alan.
Is it
Moore.
Alan Moore? Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. Halfway through that, so I still need to wrap that up.
Ooh.
Who's next?
What about you, Walter?
My geeky rec is honestly just preparing for Endgame, and I'm starting to watch all the past Marvel
Yeah, I
movies.
need to do that.
And like, if you guys go to our PanGeekery Facebook page, like we posted, like it's not a chronological order of when they came out. It's a suggestion on like how they came out, like story-wise. Yes.
Got it.
So, but that's not, I wasn't really following that because I just felt like watching Winter Soldier.
Right.
And I've been watching, Netflix has a couple of them. It has Ragnarok and Black Panther and Ant-Man and Wasp. So I started watching that, but I was like, you know what? Let me go to Captain America Winter Soldier. And I found it, it's funny because there is a part where Samuel L. Jackson talks about, to Captain America, he's like, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Oh,
I thought it was funny, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch all these other past episodes to see how many times Nick Fury lied about losing his eye. So
That's amazing.
My recommendation is just go watch like all the past Marvel movies, and I also watched because recently too, it was on TV and Iron Man 3 was playing. Oh, like on the plane when I was heading out to Florida, like
right.
Iron Man 3 was playing, and I was like, oh crap! It was people were like bashing on Iron Man 3, and I saw it again. I was like, it's not that bad. Like, I kind of liked it, and you know. Right. Anyways, but that's my recommendation. Recommendation is going back and try to catch as much of Marvel.
I gotta do that too.
10 plus years.
Yeah.
April 26th.
Before Endgame. So you can have a proper cry.
Yeah.
A proper cry.
Farewell.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What about you, Earl? What's your Rex?
This week, let's see. I'm gonna make some headroom on my headway. Sorry, on my Steam headroom, max headroom, headway on my Steam backlog. So I'm going to start Broken Age and Valiant Hearts, two kind of adventure games that. I've been looking forward to, and still reading Dead Girl.
I was gonna say, how's that book going?
It's
female protagonist.
She's still dead.
Is she still dead? Yeah.
You're still finding out the nature of.
So we're not sure yet.
Yeah,
We're
still not
sure if she's dead or not.
Well, she is dead. She's dead for sure.
For sure.
I'm
She's
pretty sure
dead.
she's
Okay,
dead.
all right. She's
but
dead.
like,
yeah.
But
is she
she
dead,
gets
though?
teleported to this weird place, and
Okay.
you're every time she goes to sleep, and you don't know what it is exactly yet.
But you're dead.
But she's dead.
But you're not sure.
But you're
Because
dreaming.
you don't know what it is, then maybe she's not dead.
Oh.
Maybe
She's
I
like
didn't
don't
think of that
know.
Schrodinger's girl.
Maybe
I know,
they
she's-
lied to her.
Schrodinger's girl.
Schrodinger's girl.
Yeah.
She's not dead until you check the box.
Schrodinger's.
Oh, I love that you know
Flirt.
that. Yeah.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. I would like to thank everybody for joining in today. Join us next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Hit up our socials. Everything's at pangeekery.com. So hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all at PanGeekery. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Jimmy John's. It takes a freak to make a sandwich that'll make you freak.
Oh, yeah.
It says that on the back of the cup here.
Freak, yeah.
Thank you, everybody in our cast. Thank the cast. Thank the crew.
Thank you, crew.
Whoa.
crew.
Aaron
I'd like
and
to see
Rodney
Thank you,
and
guys.
Angela and Joe, Arnold and Ken and Mark. Thank you, guys.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Y'all
Thank
make
you.
the show real.
And I do
Every time.
appreciate how the light it just opened up
I know.
to me.
And it was like,
So next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about a few more things. We're going to talk about love, sex, and robots, and a little more GOT, and a few other things. So join us next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jimmy Johns. Catch me, Man of Tales.
Oh, press Fae.
Jenapher Zheng, spelled weird.
And earlbaylon.com, because everything's different. So.
And you can catch PanGeekery on Instagram, Twitter,
He
Facebook,
already said that.
and everything.
And
Whoa.
you can catch PanGeekery on Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, God. Just
By the
follow
way,
us, okay? We need more followers.
PanGeekery on Instagram, Twitter,
Okay.
Twitch. All right. Good night,
Facebook.
everyone.
Good night.
Catch PanGeekery on Instagram.
We have a website too.
Yes.
PanGeekery.com.
PanGeekery.com.
PanGeekery Podcast, covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Visit us online at www.pangeekery.com.